Welcome back. We're heading off to Orlando, Florida for iCAST 2024. Let's go. So right now we are at iCAST on the water and we're going to be testing out the latest kayaks. Come with me and let's jump right in. This is the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128. I am 6'2", a little over 200 pounds. This kayak is an absolute beast. Check out the stability there on that. So right now, AliX is on the Wilderness Systems and he's showing us kind of how it operates. And I'm talking to some of the Wilderness Systems team here, getting kind of the lowdown on the design, and the price point was killer. The Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128.
It's got a new hull design, dual pontoons.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of a catamaran hull.
Right, so all of your current power-enabled kayaks all have that V-shaped hull. Therefore, when you start turning, you start maneuvering, you rotate on that keel line. Whereas with the dual pontoons, it keeps you flat and stable and just optimal for a bow mount motor.
Yeah.
So see, as he turns, and if he turns sharper, you don't have that roll where you roll to the opposite side, giving it unstable. It keeps the boat nice and flat as you progress through your turns.
Sir, here is a check with my name on it. Write down any number on this piece of paper and I will pay it.
And having the dual pontoons up in the bow allows that motor to be stowed. When it is stowed, you still have access to all of your interior space and that double bin system up front. It doesn't limit that. You're not in the way of your fish finder because it puts it off to the side.
So what's like the weight capacity and some of the specs and pricing on this?
Okay, so your Tactical Pro 128 is at 12 feet 8 inches. From factory, it's 158 pounds with a performing capacity of 600 pounds.
Okay.
So
that's really
at
good.
600 pounds, you are still at your optimum performance for this kayak.
And what did you say the price was on this again? The
$21.99. Comes with the AirPro
seat.
Aces swivel seat, full 360 of swivel, so access any gear in the back, the side you want. If you want to stand up and fish from the stern, you stand up and fish from the stern. This is a prototype, version 2.
Yep.
So
dang good looking prototype.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some pretty gnarly looking prototypes. I'd buy that already.
Yeah, we try to put the best out there. So it has a track space. In total, you have 18 feet of track space on this, including two 64-inch tracks running down each side, and then you have the integrated captain's bar in the bow for your transducers, able to hold up to two 12-inch graphs, no issue whatsoever. And allowing that, with that motor being angled to the side, you're able to place your graphs exactly where you want them and not worry about interfering where that motor is coming up and dropping when it's stowed.
Yeah, yeah.
So on his way back here, if he comes straight towards us, bow mount motors like to drift in the back end and not stay in a straight line. So this one does come integrated with a skeg in the back that can be deployed when you're making that trip forward.
So you don't get that stern swing.
Right, you just get that nice straight line, beeline that you want, but it's retractable. Therefore, if you're up in the docks and wanting to get around some tight places, you stow it and you're able just to maneuver as freely as you like. So he's able to spin all the way around without that front end just wanting to dip in on the side. Just keeps it nice and flat.
I just like how much volume there is on the interior.
Oh, yes.
You know, I'm getting to the point where, you know, I don't want it so big that I can't fit in the back of my truck, but I want bigger.
Yep.
Bigger is better, and the biggest thing that I can fit in the back of my truck is what I'm gravitating towards right now, because
this is what you will have in the back of your truck.
Yeah, yep.
So we have the interior, due to that double pontoon doing the volume, you have that large access bed in the front, which is removable, giving you full access to that whole bow area for extra storage.
Yep.
And then behind you with that raised deck, your trolling motor, if you notice, is not on the outside of the boat. It is a stored interior.
Yep.
So you have a large battery hatch directly behind the seat, and that stern deck enables you to carry a 100 amp hour battery. No problem at all.
I mean, the other thing too is I'm a family man, so even if I'm not fishing, having all that volume allows me to have my kid with me, and that's important to me too, you know, so like, it's just a really cool boat.
So right below the grass, if you can catch, it has a single bin dual hatch system. So it's a large interior
Oh yeah, there's dual hatches there. Yeah.
Closed, rotomolded in bin.
Yeah.
Therefore, whatever angle you put your graphs at enables you to either open one hatch, so you're not cut off from your storage of soft plastics, fishing gear, anything you want to store in there is easily accessible.
So there it looks like he's in anchor mode. He's accessing his hatches. He could maybe be manipulating his graph, doing whatever he needs to do. Totally stable, totally confident on
Forgets
it.
he's even on a kayak.
Yeah, easy. Elliot, you look so stable on that thing. You look like you're just standing in your living room. Like you're not even having to think about it really. The flamingo pose. There you go.
Go ahead and give a stand up on those hatches. That's your upper platform right there for that nice cast.
Yeah. Elevated.
So right now you're directly under your bow pontoon. So that is the stable part of the hull of that boat right there.
Oh, that's
You
smart.
feel like you are locked in. So when you're controlling your motor guide from the bow, you're able to go in and out of them docks with ease. So the hatch is rotomolded. Yes, I stood on the hatch and the area right next to the hatch, that on the actual kayak plastic, standing platform, no problem at all. You're on spot walk, the boat ain't gonna go nowhere this time. It'd just be you. Yeah, so with that hole, you're able, instead of having 1 foot here and shuffle, you're able to stand both legs on one side if you please.
You don't have to worry so much about standing center line on the kayak.
Nope.
And what did you say the price was on this again? The
$21.99.
That's a good value. Holy moly.
Yep. So
I'm surprised they have that price because of the shipping alone. The shipping costs alone, you know, like that's awesome.
So this is a DIY, this is the ultimate fishing, this is tournament style, this is rigged to your exact needs.
Yeah.
Now let's be honest, many of us are not going to paddle this. I mean, there's so much room on here, you could even put a backup motor if your one motor failed. You could probably have 3 backup motors. I mean, this thing is huge. The last thing I'm gonna do is probably paddle it, but it's good to know that it can be paddled.
Talking about earlier, it's just the ultimate open platform to allow you the most kind of custom experience or custom options for setting up your personal boat for kayak fishing, of course. There's a lot going on here, and it's a tremendous amount to walk through. But I'll tell you, some of the key points of the boat are certainly the hull shape itself. That lends itself to, it's a very unique design, unique shape. Gives you a tremendous amount of stability, not only when you're seated, but also standing, and more importantly, if you are motoring. It keeps the bow of the boat from slipping to one side or the other to the V when you make a turn with your trolling motor, and keeps the boat flat and stable. Additionally, there is a fair amount of pre-factory run wiring that has been applied. So that applies for your graphs or for your motor drive itself here. All of that's preset from the factory, so you're ready to plug in and go, add your motor. There's also a variety of lift handles, both in front of you and behind you to release the motor and then to pull it back up. Those are also installed under your seat here. That's also pre-installed from the factory, ready for you to go. So the idea is to get you ready, give you a custom platform, but do some of the hard work that no one wants to do, running internal wiring. Storage galore. There's storage everywhere. Inside of the hatch here on the bow, there's a bin inside, gives you access inside. You've got 2 hatches here, which is actually one single bin. But given the fact that you may be using this captain or the commander bar with your graphs in different ways, it allows you to access either side of the oar depending on where your graphs are set up. Tracks are everywhere. You have a track across this commander track across the bow. You've got 64 inches of track on each side of the boat, as well as some tracks just behind you for your boxes and things, and then even smaller ones behind for if you want to put a light pole or a flag or anything like that. Again, lots of strategic planning went into this to make it very useful. So the idea was to be very strategic about the design, about the placement of certain attributes and features to make it useful for you, but also to give you this large open area here to work with. You're going to notice a number of plates installed all over the boat as well. Those are set up from the factory for wire pass-throughs, whatever you need to do, and if you want to replace those later because you change your orientation of the boat and the layout, you just replace those plates and you're ready to go. So with that,
Awesome.
let's say take off.
So right now we are motoring with the Wilderness Systems Pro Tactical 128. This one happens to have a motor guide on the front, an XI3, and they have the graph there. And right now we're chilling, and it feels like I'm sitting in my living room. I mean, you got a reclining seat, which just feels amazing. I mean, check this out. I can recline. I could spin all the way around if I wanted to. While moving. Absolutely crazy. So comfortable, very comfortable. And to stand up, because the seat is so elevated and high, I'm a tall guy, I don't feel like I'm just sitting up from a low position. I just easily can stand up. It's not even, there's no effort or any thought that really has to go into standing up on here. You can see here that we got a lot of forgiving stability. I mean, I can stand with my feet on one side of the kayak, right here, and we're moving and we're not tipping because of that catamaran style hull. There's tons of stability. Bouncing up and down a little bit, still not going to fall. And it's just so smooth. With the motor up in the bow, it is so smooth.
At $21.99, this kayak is an absolute steal. I will say, Wilderness Systems has not excited me for a long time. I know they had some of their classic, hull designs, things that were kind of the legends, the goats of the kayaking world. But for a long time, they actually bored me. I was not excited about Wilderness Systems, but this got me excited again. I am super stoked.
So now we're anchoring.
If you don't have a GPS trolling motor by now, you are missing out big time. It is epic. The Motor Guide XI3 fits on this kayak pretty well. I think I could also fit the Autoboat system, which I've been using, on this very easily. The one thing I will note is the XI3 Motor Guide. I don't know if they have gain settings on it, but it did pull pretty hard and quick, which could throw people off a kayak. Now this kayak is pretty darn stable, so I was not too worried. But if that Motor Guide XI3 was on any other kayak, the sharp turn that it did could possibly have thrown off some people. But on this kayak, really don't have to worry too much. Now here we're going to exit out of the anchor mode and we're going to end up motoring back to the dock. But wow, this is an epic kayak. I am super stoked. I think I might be messaging the company, see if we can work out something. I want to get my hands on one in South Florida and see what we can do with it.
Check it out. Can't catch the whole thing in frame, but it is a beast. I am 6'2", a little over 200 pounds. This kayak is an absolute beast. They did a very good job at this. I would say I haven't been a big fan of Wilderness Systems, but I am now. I like this a lot. I give it a solid thumbs up, and this is just the prototype. And their price point, killer. Links in the description. Check it out now.
But I want it now!
On top of the morning, on top of the wave, on top of the team, on top of the days, on top of my purpose. I create. Y'all wanna copy, but we're not the same.